Good morning or good afternoon, guys. I hope everyone is well. This is your daily market outlook for today. Let's get straight into it. It's the 13th of January. So, as always, we check the news and see what's going on today. As you guys can see, we have some red folder news for the dollar going in around half two. So, from this time of recording, it's about 2 hours away until we get that red folder news, which is core CPI, CPI at half two. So let's keep an eye on that going into today, and obviously understanding that that could bring some volatility into the markets. But yeah, as always, we start off on the dollar and see what the dollar is doing. Not much has changed. We just got some sort of reaction yesterday from this area. Obviously, you guys can see that we were creating this daily trend where we're creating them lower lows and lower highs. This range is where we're currently at from this lower high to this lower low. And if we follow the trend, of course, what we expect is we expect a pullback, and then we expect that to obviously we have a reaction to go and create a new daily lower low. So looking at the market right now, we're still in the extreme level of this daily supply. And I think it's a 4 hour supply, but this whole last candle here is our daily supply zone. We did take out the high of this, which is a good sign. So we take out the high, take the liquidity, and then we get this volume down. So now what I'm hoping for is, can we see the market continue downwards? So we had this break up, break down. Can we see the market now continue to attack these lows here? So that is what I've got for the daily. And then obviously we do get the market moving away from here. This daily demand candle, which will be, this area here, will be where we'll be waiting to see where the market reacts out of. Can we see some sort of change of character to initiate the market potentially then going, giving us that bullish move away? So that is a higher time frame analysis that I'm looking for. Going down into the four, what can we see? Well, what I can currently see is this is the daily range still. So this is the daily range, the daily lower high, daily lower low. That is the high that we're taking here. So if we're looking at it from this point, this is our 4 hour structure still. We still have this as our 4 hour structure. So the 4 hour is bullish, whereas the daily is bearish. So what is the 1 hour telling us? Well, the 1 hour was telling us yesterday that it's obviously broken this low here. And just to make it easier, let me get the arrow. You can see that the internal trend here, let's just start from here. We have obviously a mini pullback. We create a higher high in the 1 hour, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and then we have this lower low break here. So if you guys can see, and if I drop down onto the 1 hour or 2 hour, it might be a little bit more easier to understand. So you can see higher low, higher high, failed to go and create a new higher high from this low, and then we broke down here. Now, currently where the market is at, if we look at the four, you'll be able to see that there's a clear 4 hour supply candle with a little bit of imbalance here. But what I noticed is obviously this area is obviously supply, but when we broke, we pulled back a little bit and we had this break. So on a 1 hour, the trend is slightly a little bit different. So for me, looking at this whole leg from here to here on the 1 hour structure is we obviously have two clear 4 hour supplies and 1 hour supply. So ideally, what you should expect and what you always do expect is us potentially coming into the extreme supply. So the extreme supply would be this last 1 hour supply candle. This is a 4 hour supply, but inside that 4 hour, we have a little bit of imbalance and we have this 1 hour supply. So usually expect it to obviously come up, get that change, and then that's where we get that real momentum. But of course, it's not always going to happen. It's not always going to happen. And the 1 hour trend, as you guys have just identified as well with me, is here. So that is a valid 1 hour lower high, valid 1 hour lower low. And that's why we're getting a reaction from here right now. So this morning, I was waiting to see some sort of reaction from either supply or demand. So if you look at this, this was a 15-minute trend. We have higher high, higher low, higher high. We come into this 4 hour supply. I was waiting to see what's going to happen. Are we going to react like this? Or are we going to get a break? And for me, obviously we've come lower. Yes, we didn't finish with a candle closure, but that was telling me that, we've obviously took out this low and then potentially now we're going to see this. And as you guys can see, as this is recording, we are in, let's just make that a different color. We are in this area now. So I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to mark up this as, one second, what am I doing? As a lower time frame break. Yes, I would have liked to see a candle closure. And now we're getting that reaction from here. If you want to be double cautious, wait for another break of this and then potentially see if we can catch this. But that's what I'm looking at as we speak. We can refine that to this, which will be a 15-minute supply, imbalance just below. And obviously now we're breaking above. What you could also wait for potentially is if we're breaking this area here, which will be a lower time frame. And let's say, a minute 40, we could see a candle closure. Potentially, we could see a pullback into this, this wick here, and then catch the sell for the dollar there, and then vice versa from the major pairs. So this morning with your USD currently in this at the moment, which I'll explain from a higher time frame first. Daily is still the same. We're still in this daily demand area. Yesterday we had this obviously bullish reaction from this daily demand finally, after last week just melting away. Going on to the four, you can see that we are in this 4 hour range from here to here. So let me just show you this. This is a 4 hour range. So yes, we could come up into the extreme level here, and then get that reaction, of course. But from a 1 hour, and let me just mark that out actually, just so you guys can see, because from a 4 hour perspective, I'd be keeping my eye on around this area to see what's going to happen if we can get that bullishness. So yeah, that's what we see on the four, because this is our 4 hour break structure still here. Pardon me. So yeah, that's what I can see. Looking at the 1 hour, pardon me. Yesterday, we identified that, of course, this would be a 4 hour demand area here. We didn't quite get this, but if you actually look at the one, you'll be able to notice that same as the dollar, we have the 1 hour doing this. The 1 hour was, obviously higher high, change of character, created a higher low, didn't quite get into this area here, and then we obviously had this range. So again, ideally, what we would want to see is the extreme level of demand area met, which would be this, but we haven't had that. That's ideally what we would want. And obviously, if something presents itself, you obviously have to make a decision. Now, this 1 hour demand imbalance above, this is where we got, obviously this bullish move away from it. If I drop down to the 15, I can show you what happened. And as you guys can see, the dollar was playing to what I liked. We obviously we're still in this bullish range at the time. But as you guys can see, we tapped into this. As soon as I seen obviously the reaction in the lower time frame, the 5, this allowed me to then look for this pullback, which was this wick here. And then catch what we're obviously currently at is a 1 to 1.6. It did a 1 to 2.5. Hopefully, going to do a 1 to 3. But yeah, that's what we can see from here. Let's get rid of this for now and show you what we can potentially look for at the moment. 1 hour, we have had this area here as a 1 hour change of character. Market's pulled up and we are pulled back. Nothing clear as day to me anyway right now to look for anything on the 1 hour. If you look at the 1 hour, you can see that this candle here, once we broke up, it would have left some imbalance. This pulled back, mitigated, and then we got that bullish movement away. So yeah, nothing clear as of right now. If we look at the 4, same again. This candle's mitigated this now. If we look at the 2, same scenario. We have this engulfing candle. We pull back in there, filled in the imbalance. So nothing really clear. If we drop to the 30, no, 15, 15. Everything's clean as of right now with the 15. So my only ideal scenario would be to try and get into this would be see a break of this again. And if you guys want to look for, of course, pull back to then potentially try and see if we can get that bullishness, come into the markets. That is potentially what I'd look for going into EU. Now, GU is a little bit more. I'm not actually seeing GU right now. Well, until now, should I say? But GU is obviously looking a little bit more cleaner, I guess. Um, and what I mean by that is we've had a little bit more of a engulfing candle from the daily out of this daily demand. So let's just buy this. We haven't pulled back into this. If you can see, we've still got some imbalance from this Friday candle to today's Tuesday candle. We still have a little bit of imbalance. So, could we see potentially, let's say the dollar is going to pull up a little bit higher into that 4 hour range that we talked about here. Could we then see GU potentially have a little bit of a pullback into this daily demand candle? If I drop to the four, what can I see? Well, 4 hour, we broke this supply, so let's get rid of this. We had obviously this change of character on the four. This is my 4 hour range at the moment. Yes, we are reacting out of this unmitigated supply, 4 hour supply. So you can play both sides. You can play both sides because we're at a time of supply. If we see a break of, let's say, this low, you could look for potential sells and then also see how it reacts from either this demand or this demand for, longs. Um, that is something that you can obviously look for because this is more of a 1 hour range, should I say, where this will be my, 1 hour range, whereas a four is still bearish in regards to this here, this area to this area here. So, you know, that's a supply that's been unmitigated. This is a supply up here that's not been mitigated. So if we do get a bullishness from these two areas, this demand and this demand, can we potentially then see how it reacts from this supply candle? That'll be one thing that I'd be keeping an eye on, definitely. So yeah, that is what I've been looking out for in regards to GU. Again, it could be this demand, or obviously could be this demand. We have a little bit of imbalance above that, so keep an eye out on that and make sure that you guys are aware. Going into NZUSD, we did get the pullback that I wanted yesterday, and we're trapped between demand and supply. If you look at the trend right now, we're in this demand area, but for me, we had higher high, higher low, failed to go and break a new higher high, which then what? Mitigated this daily supply where the imbalance was, and then we created a new lower low. So it's a little bit more awkward because obviously with this range being, let me just mark this out, with this range being, here to here, you can see that what we want to expect the market to do from a structural point is pull back, daily supply, go and create a new lower low, potentially come and attack these imbalances and this daily demand area here. So a little bit different. The way that I'm looking at this right now is if you look the daily, you can see which demand area we're in. We're in this last buy candle before that causes break of structure. That is currently where we're at. If we look at the four, you'll be able to see that there's nothing really clear up here. Probably the only thing is where is the imbalance start, but the imbalance, obviously is here, and this is where we're currently reacting from. Or you can obviously mark out the whole of this area as these two last buy candles, or the last obviously buy, but I'd go off the two as a 4 hour supply. So what I'd be waiting for is a lower time frame entry on the 1 hour, the 15 minute. If we look at the 15 or the 30, can we see anything? Obviously, you can see that we are downtrending at the moment. This area here didn't get mitigated. This supply area here still left a little bit of imbalance. So that'd be one supply area that we look out for. Let me just look under 15. 15 is clean. 15 structure, 15-minute structure would possibly be coming back up into around this area here for sells. That would be potentially what I'd be looking for. Again, depends also what the dollar is doing. We've got clean 15-minute structure. You can see here, lower low, lower high, mitigated this supply, lower low, next supply area. Can we see this? Ooh, can we see that? So keep an eye out on that. Again, if the dollar potentially wants to, come a bit more bullish, that would make sense as well for NZUSD to, obviously sell from this area here. So yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on that going into the rest of today. And it's also a clean 1 hour supply area there as well. AUD USD, as you guys know, not really my favorite. We have two demand areas. This will probably be my favorite demand area, but we are in this 4 hour here. Reacted out with the daily. This is our structure at the moment. If you look at the one, it's just not as clean as the others. If we go from here, let me just mark this out. You can see that this is my 1 hour demand area, which we're currently reacting from. In order for me to participate in this, I would need to see this broke here. So I need to see, let's say we break above here, pull back, and then go and target this high or these highs here. But as of right now, if you could drop down to the 15, what can you see? Well, you can see that we're in a downward trend on the 15, and we have a clear supply area here. This 15-minute supply area. So supply is still in control on the lower time frames. So what would I be expecting is if we're going to carry on downwards and we don't break, it'll be from here. So yeah, that is it for NZ and AU. The USD CAD and USD CHF, I've not traded. Nothing's been cleared today for me with USD Japanese yen. It's just been extremely bullish. We've not had any pullbacks realistically for me to even look at. Yeah, obviously we can go over some of the supplies, but I'm going to keep it short for today because I know it's a little bit of a later one. CAD, Swiss franc is a potential to look out for. That was obviously a supply area yesterday. Can we see we broke the low here? So can we see, reaction on a lower time frame here? Or if not, because we're reacting on its demand, we will need to see this high broke here to participate in buys. CAD JPY, extremely bullish, not had the pullbacks that I've been wanting, so not really interested in that. Euro CAD, that could be something that is interesting. You can see structure, higher high, higher low, higher high. I would like to see potentially where the market is reacting from right now as a 4 hour demand. So I'll be looking, to potentially get in some longs on a lower time frame, potentially even see a pullback into this. And the reason I like that is because this candle's broke above this internal structure here. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So yeah, that could be something that we obviously look at. For Euro CAD, can we see a pullback? And then go and target this high and potentially see how we react out of this supply or this supply here. So yeah, that is something I'd keep an eye on Euro CAD. But that's pretty much it. I don't know about Euro, Japanese yen. Nothing's giving at the moment. Yeah, nothing's giving there. Yeah, that is pretty much it for the majors and cross pairs. Just to let you guys know, because I forgot to mention it at the beginning, I'm going to reshare my screen just very quickly. As always, you guys know this anyway, the content on this channel is only for educational and informational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor, so anything that's shared on these videos should it be considered, financial or investment, advice, trading, investing always involves risk. And with me not being a financial advisor, you should obviously go and do your own research and go and learn, obviously yourself or seek that financial advisor, I don't know that's the word, obviously from a professional. So yeah, just so you guys know that. But other than that, I appreciate every single person on here. Appreciate you guys tuning back in. Have an amazing rest of your Tuesday. Take care. God bless.